In bioprocessing, we of course use cells as the small factories that produce the target molecules in the end, whether it is a protein or enzyme or in the end, even sometimes acid, depending on the industry we are talking about. And their effective cell culture monitoring is important and even crucial, as the cells directly impact the quality and consistency of the direct final product. So by closely monitoring the cultures, scientists can ensure optimal growth conditions, which is in the end relating to the optimal production conditions, detect contaminations or other problems early on if there are any in the process, and make the necessary adjustments to maintain the desired characteristics, which all are essential for the producing of biologics and biosimilars.
Hey, smart scientists! Welcome to another episode on the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast. Today, we're discussing single-cell analysis technologies to gain a better understanding of cell populations. And it's my pleasure to welcome Furkan Gökçe, who is the new business development manager at Amphasys, where he is committed to introducing impedance flow cytometry to the bioprocessing industry. Stay tuned for an exciting conversation. Are you juggling the complexities of CMC development while trying to enjoy the beauty of biotech? Have you ever wondered if there's a way to simplify bioprocessing? Welcome to the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast, where we're diving headfirst into the very challenges you face. We're breaking it down, demystifying the jargon, and giving you the keys to unlock your full potential. I'm your host, David Brohlman, and I get it. With 15 plus years in the biotech industry, I face the same challenges you do. There's a way to simplify and streamline so you can remove complexity, you can skip trials and errors, deliver without delay your groundbreaking therapy to clinics and market, and still enjoy every single step. Do you want to learn how industry experts and I did it? Grab a cup of coffee and your favorite notebook and pen. Now is the time to take your bioprocessing game to the next level. Let's smarten up biotech. Welcome, Furkan, to the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast.
Thank you for inviting me as a guest speaker here. It's a pleasure.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you on today, Furkan. Share something that most people don't know about you.
Yeah, many people, including actually many of my friends, don't know that I like writing essays, stories, and even poems since my early teenage days. So I think I got inspired by Montaigne for the essays and Khayyam and Said Faik for the stories and poems in general.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's, I think, something maybe we should connect on.
I can connect actually.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Furkan, what led you to pursue a career in biotech, and what pivotal moments and decisions brought you to your current role?
Well, I studied electrical engineering and specialized in microsystems engineering with a focus on biomedical applications of microfluidics as well as integrated sensors to interface. And as a kid, I witnessed a lot of cancer cases in my family as well as in the surrounding people, which motivated me work on engineering solutions for cancer and related health matters. This is why I first worked on circulating tumor cell detection from whole blood during my master's, and then developing on a drug testing platform for tailoring treatments for leukemia patients during my PhD. So during both projects, I developed microfluidic systems and interfacing sensors and readouts to assess the cells, typically count and assess the viability of cells, which is usually a sign of existing of CTCs, let's say, or response of leukemia cells to individual drug treatments. In the end, this path led me to my current role as the new business development manager at Amphasys, where we are developing technologies for single-cell analysis, specifically for cell-based manufacturing applications, to detect and assess the cells in bioreactors in culture during the process. And Amphasys is a Swiss company which has been around for 15 years, since the early days of the invention of technology, actually. And we are currently the market leader in pollen analysis, especially for the seed production industry, And in the recent years, we are focusing on expanding our expertise to the bioprocessing, biotechnology community as well, especially for upstream as well as downstream processes.
Before we dive into the technical part of the cell analysis and how this can change bioprocessing, I'm interested in your view. What do you believe are one of the challenges that biotech scientists often face in bioprocess development and also in the manufacturing of biologics?
As I said, I have more of an engineering background, and perhaps due to originating from physics and engineering domain, I find the inherent complexity and uncertainty in biological systems to be the key challenge. At a level, to me, it even feels almost enigmatic, driving my own curiosity and enthusiasm to develop interfacing tools and technologies, actually, to probe those otherwise complex phenomena in biology. So this uncertainty kind of necessitates robust probing technologies to provide clear and interpretable data, which in the end helps the scientists make reliable decisions. And we nowadays know that there are a lot of process analytical technologies exactly doing this, exactly helping scientists to do meaningful decisions, to improve their processes, to prevent, let's say, unexpected outcomes in their processes. And then if the listeners are interested, I think there were two actually episodes by Apijit Safekar, where he was really in plain English introducing the PATs, their key considerations, and even the role of AI in decision making when combined with process analytical technologies. So I really recommend that.
Yeah, I can relate to your observation. I remember when I did my first multivariate training. This was with people coming from chemistry, and they were just shocked by the huge variability in biological processes. It's quite a different ballgame.
I mean, the biggest learning from my PhD as an engineering student in biological department, I needed to improve my, let's say, resilience, because in biology, the unknown is the biology, not the engineering. There is no way to forecast the behavior of cells in advance designing the platforms. Then I needed to repeat a lot of similar experiments just to capture a meaningful tendency of cells in the platform.
Yeah, let's talk about the biology now, the subject we all love so much, right? So let's just set the stage. Why is single cell analysis important in bioprocessing, and how does impedance flow cytometry enhance our understanding of cell populations compared to average measures of cell cultures?
Yeah, let's start with the cell culture monitoring in general. So in bioprocessing, we of course use cells as the small factories that produce the target molecules in the end, whether it is a protein or enzyme, or in the end, even sometimes acid, depending on the industry we are talking about. And their effective cell culture monitoring is important and even crucial, as the cells directly impact the quality and consistency of the direct final product. So by closely monitoring the cultures, scientists can ensure optimal growth conditions, which is in the end relating to the optimal production conditions, detect contaminations or other problems early on if there are any in the process, and make the necessary adjustments to maintain the desired characteristics, which all are essential for the producing of biologics and biosimilars. And when we talk about single cell analysis, it takes this one step further by providing detailed examination of individual cell behaviors and states within a culture. So unlike the bulk measurements, which offer average values that can hide critical variations, single cell analysis reveals the heterogeneity within the cell populations. This detailed information is vital for understanding the nuances of cell growth, viability, and response to various stimuli, which can seriously affect the bioprocess outcome. So to illustrate this a bit better, one can think of assessing a crowd with aerial images, let's say in the Times Square or Shibuya crossing, which are very well known, I think, worldwide. So analyzing the aerial images help us understand how crowded this crossing or this neighborhood is. But we don't know actually how many people are there or how they are feeling. So although aerial images provide general overview, they miss individual differences between the people, their feelings, whether they are happy or sad. This is how bulk measurements sort of work. So you get an idea how crowded the bioreactor is, how many cells they are, although not absolute numbers, you still get an idea. but miss the critical variations. Critical variations that give impression about the viability of individual cells, maybe even production quality of individual cells in the end. That is your key motivation to improve and maintain the high quality of production. Similarly, our technology also enhances the understanding of populations by providing high content label free analysis of each and every cell in the measurement volume. So this offers precise insights into cell population dynamics, enables better process control and optimization. You can think of it, instead of the aerial images, you have portrait images of every and single person in the crossing. So you know who they are, you know how they are feeling, how old they are, things like this. Yeah. I don't know if this was concise enough, by the way.
No, that's good. It's very well described. Can you explain the basic principles of impedance flow cytometry? Like, how does this work? How do we get such a high resolution?
Yeah, I will make another analogy to picture it better for the listeners because it's mostly audio here. So you can think of it as the security control at airports, where each and every person has to go through an X-ray scanner and get scanned one by one. Similarly, we have suspension of cells in the bioreactor, where we draw a sample volume and flow the cells individually one by one in a microfluidic channel, which has integrated electrodes. So to these electrodes, we apply some AC voltage at multiple different electrical frequencies and capture the image or footprint of individual cells in electrical domain, which in the end helps us for real-time and label-free analysis of cells in terms of their size, concentration, as well as viability and even metabolic activity. So by assessing the cells individually and one by one, we can draw a larger picture of the overall population inside the bioreactor while maintaining the individual information about the cells.
And what has inspired actually the development of IFC, and has it evolved from traditional impedance technologies?
I think many of us, including biological people, are actually familiar with Coulter counters, which was actually kind of the ancestor of all the available cell analysis technologies nowadays. So the development of IFC, or impedance flow cytometry, dates back more than 20 years ago, when it was driven by a need for more precise and efficient methods for cell counting and separation, initially in diagnostic applications like hematology, oncology, and toxicology. So traditional methods, one being Coulter counter, they also measure the electrical impedance of cells, typically at a single and very low frequency, if not DC, to determine the cell size and count them, but they lack the resolution and throughput needed for detailed analysis of cells, such as viability or metabolic activity. They also require somewhat tedious sample preparation. So impedance flow cytometry evolved around integrating the Coulter counter principle, again electrical domain measurements, with advanced microfabrication techniques, with advancement in the CMOS electrical IC fabrication techniques. And this allowed for the spectral impedance measurements, which mean multiple frequencies or over a range of frequencies, spectral impedance measurements of individual cells at high screening rates exceeding to thousands of cells per second, improving the overall throughput. So the technology uses microfluidic chips that are integrated with channels and microelectrodes, enabling simultaneous measurements at a wide range of frequencies, typically from kilohertz to several hundreds of megahertz. And this high-resolution analysis provides label-free insights into cell characteristics. That means that the cells are assessed in their natural states. They don't need sample preparation. They don't have labels interfering and interacting with their intrinsic properties.
When you say that no sample preparation is needed, do you need to concentrate the cells when you, for instance, sampling, or what do you need to do prior to analyzing the sample?
So as you also know, in bioprocessing, there are a lot of different host organisms. It can be microbial, prokaryotic, or eukaryotic cells. Depending on the cell type and also depending on the process recipe, let's say, the sample preparation can also change. So we typically draw a sample from the bioreactor. This can be done manually or automated. Then sometimes we need to dilute it, and only dilution, and maybe filtering to make sure that there are no large particles so we can assess them in the microfluidic channel properly. And at most times what is needed. So you can, some cases, directly measure from the culture medium, directly from bioreactor as they are. Some cases you might need to dilute it in a specific measurement buffer.
And what volumes are required to do this measurement?
So to get a meaningful measurement, we require typically around a few microliters, 5 to 10 microliters, let's say at most. But to make sure that we have enough sample, we recommend sampling 50 to 100 microliters from the bioreactors. So this is not much if you want to do overall, let's say, assessment of cultures, especially in the production volumes. It's nothing at all, so a few microliters.
Hey, smart biotech scientists! I hope you've been enjoying our conversation with Furkan Gökçe, who is the new business development manager at Amphasys. In part 2 of our conversation that will drop this Thursday, we are continuing our discussion on single cell analysis and, more importantly, how to integrate that into your workflow. And we're going to be talking about a few real-life examples. What did you think about this episode? Please tell us by leaving a review. And I would like to help you integrate innovative technologies to enhance your bioprocess production. To do so, just book a free 30-minute assessment with me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the call and to help you take your bioprocess to the next level. All right, smart scientists. That's all for today on the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on your journey to bioprocess mastery. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. By doing so, we can empower more scientists like you. For additional bioprocessing tips, visit us at smartbiotechscientist.com. Stay tuned for more inspiring biotech insights in our next episode. Until then, let's continue to smarten up biotech.